Okay, thanks. Thanks for the confirmation. Uh, Welcome to this session on how to use Algomojo platform for automating your strategies that you would have in various charting platforms like TradingView or Amibroker or Charting, etc. So this session is getting recorded, and in case we have any queries, you can raise them along. Uh, I will try and answer them immediately. And in case if you want to see anything specific in the platform, please feel free to ask. Use the Q&A box to type out your queries. I will answer them. And in TradingView or in our platform, if you need to automate anything specific, please type it out. We will try and use that example today for checking how do we automate those. Otherwise, we will use some very popular strategies and indicators available in TradingView and see how we can automate the signals which get generated from these strategies like super trend or even price-based actions or even indicators. We could use a couple of them and see how do we generate signals and place orders in the account, right? Uh, we'll start with a small presentation, and then we will get into looking at the Algomojo platform, and then we will get into looking at how do we automate some of the trading view studies or strategies which are available. Right. Our website is algomojo.com. Kindly have a look at the platform to get more details about what we are into. We will try and answer or provide details about what is that Algomojo is all about and how it can help your trading strategies or investment strategies as such. Yeah, we will look at some examples in TradingView and see how do we, based on those studies in TradingView, how do we pick up those signals or levels and then place orders. Uh, we will try and do that, yes. And in case if you have any specific uh, study you're looking at TradingView, like your ATR based stop loss or target, if you have something specific, let me know. I'll try and load that and see. We will check how do we possibly automate those uh, levels or signals which are generated in theory. Yeah, we will look at, we'll start with looking at what are the various features which are available in Algomojo platform. Then we will look into how do we do an integration with TradingView. In case if anybody is interested in looking at Amibroker, we can have a look at that also. A brief about Algomojo support and structure. How do we access Algomojo for getting any kind of support? We will have a look at that. Uh, Algomojo is a web-based trade execution platform, I would say. We don't have any mobile app or any other app. Using any browser on your laptop or on your mobile phone, you will be able to use all the functionalities that are available in our platform. And it is designed to help traders to automate their trading signals. We are currently integrated with some of the popular charting tools like TradingView, Amibroker. If anybody is using MP4, you can try and automate those signals. Charting. So if you have any scanners which would scan for the stocks and give buy or sell signals, you can automate that. NinjaTrader and Google Sheet, Excel, and Python or the other execution platforms which are available, which are integrated with Algomojo. In case if you're familiar and want to use Python or Excel, you can try and use our platform for that. We provide common API connectivities to interact with or place orders with multiple brokers. Whatever execution modules are required, whatever simple codes are required, that is generated in a platform, and all you have to do is just copy paste them onto the charting tools, so that the signals can be picked up from your charting tool and orders can be placed in your account. We have tried to make this as simple as possible. You need not have to have any kind of coding or programming knowledge. All you have to have is a, good trading strategy, which you would have tried and tested and back tested and found that it is suitable, and you'd like to execute those signals which are generated by those strategies, running on the platforms like TradingView or Charting or Amibroker. So our platform will help you to achieve that. It is a very, very simple step. Like I mentioned, you need not have to get into the codes of any of the strategies that you are using, or do any modifications in any of the tools that you are using or codes that you are using. All you have to do is just copy paste certain things to from our platform to automate as such. Yes. Uh, Some of the key features would be like you can customize what is that you want to trade, whether you want to trade in, say, equities, you want to trade in futures, or you want to trade in options. You can choose and define those in a platform. So whenever the signals get generated, the orders will be placed on the predefined segments that you want to trade with. In terms of options, you can trade either in static options or even dynamic options. Dynamic options would select the based on the spot price when the signal is received. It will select whether you want to trade in. If you have selected to trade in ATM or OTM or ITM, it will looking at the spot price. It will select the strike and place the orders in that option as such. Now, in terms of OTM and ITM, you have the flexibility to choose up to 20 strikes. So 20 strikes in the money and 20 strikes out of the money. Uh, 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 you can choose. So when the signal comes, looking at the spot price, if you're selected, say ITM 5, it will pick up that particular strike price and then place orders. The platform is useful for not only buying. You can, if you're an option writer, you can use our platform to write options also. And if you want to hedge some of your strategies, that is also possible using our platform. Then, if you're trading in multiple quantities or quantities which are more than freeze limit set by the exchanges, then we will take care of the order splitting. You do not have to worry about placing multiple orders. We will handle that. So, order splitting is a feature available for all users. Then, in terms of risk management, you have target and stop loss, which can be set in terms of either points or percentage. And also, we have recently introduced trailing stop loss. A lot of people have started using it, and they have found it to be very, very helpful to manage their profits and minimize their losses as such. Then M2M based risk management is another feature which has been recently introduced. So you can set a limit of profit for the day or loss for the day that you would like to uh, you would like to close your positions with. So if a particular, say if you set a target of say 25,000 rupees, if the uh, target is achieved, it will close the position automatically. You need not have to keep looking at the screen or keep monitoring your trades based on what you set as the profit and stop loss. Whenever those levels are achieved, the trade will be closed by the system automatically for you. Also, you can customize the time when you want to start the trading. There are a lot of traders who would not like to trade in the first 1 hour or 1.5 hours, or there are traders who would like to trade only during the morning volatility and the closing time volatility. So you can set the time in our platform itself as to when you want to start the trades to getting executed. So if you say that, okay, let my trades be executed till about 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the morning. After that, any signals coming in, it need not be executed. We will take care of that. So any signals coming from your charting tool up to 10:30 or 11, which you set as the end time, will be processed, and beyond that, it will start ignoring it, or it will not get executed. So these are, it is very flexible, very customizable. It is, you can choose what is that you want to trade, how much is that you want to trade, when is that you want to trade. Uh, so based on your requirement of trading or investment, you can customize in our platform itself. It's a one-time setup that you need to do, and pass the signals from the strategies that you would be running in TradingView or any other charting tool as such. Then in terms of rollover, the system can take care of rollovers for you. Suppose you're trading in a weekly option, and on the expiry day, it will close the existing portion and take up the next week or next month's contract for you automatically. So you have the flexibility to set rollover or not to set rollover. In case if you set it as yes, then it will keep shifting to the next week or the next month, depending on the contract that you're trading. Then live trade and paper trade is provided to all the users. We enable three paper trades for all the users. The objective of providing paper trade is to check the process of seeing whether the orders are getting executed as per your requirement. Now, suppose you're a trader and you're running a strategy which is always something like a super trend, and whenever it gives a buy, you want to take, say, ITM 5 CE, and whenever it gives a sell, you want to close the CE and take a PE. So to test those kind of signals, whether orders are going as per your expectations, the paper trade facilities are provided. It is not a back testing or a forward testing tool, I would say. So that is why there's a limitation of three paper trades enabled for the users. The idea is to check if the orders are getting placed as per the requirement. Once you're satisfied that the orders are getting executed as per your requirement, then you can move over to the live trades as such. Now, unlike a backtesting tool or a forward testing tool where you test it for a couple of months or a couple of years, um, uh, such facility is not available in our platform. It is more to look at uh, checking out trade executions if they are meeting as per your requirements. That is the whole purpose. Otherwise, what would happen is you'll need to place live orders, and in case if it gets into a loss, we would not wish that you lose money in terms of testing out the strategies, testing out the platform. So that's the only reason why we allow paper trade limited to three and not beyond that. So our suggestion to all users is that first do the setup and try out the paper trade. And if you feel that everything is going fine, then shift over to live trade. If in case if it is not getting executed as per your requirement, try and tweak the strategies or rules which are there and to ensure that it is meeting your requirement. Only when you're satisfied that yes, the orders are getting placed as per your expectations, then move to the live trade as such. So in case if you're running futures and equities and options, you can create three separate strategies for equities or futures and option. Test it out in all three segments or multiple segments, and see if the platform is meeting your requirement. Then carry on with your live trades. Then there are certain rules which are set in a platform, which is very critical for the effective working of the entire strategy and the orders. Uh, these are based on various studies and various requirements of traders and investors, broadly classified as long only, short only, or long plus short, and stop and reversal as such. Okay. Now, there's a query. Well, in your watch list, there's an option for capital and quantity. So, in case if you are wanting to determine the quantity dynamically, you place you update the capital. So at the time when the signal is received, we will look at what is the LTP and what is the capital that you allocated to that particular stock and arrive at the quantity to be traded. Or if you want a fixed quantity to be traded, you can fill up the quantity also. Otherwise, the quantity will be determined dynamically based on the last traded price and the capital that you have mentioned. Yeah. Now, in case you are a trader doing option strategies, then you can create each of these legs in the option strategy separately and then group all of them together and execute them based on a single signal or a single trigger, which can be done from the various charting platforms. So when there's a buy, if there are 4 legs or 5 legs, or depending on strategy that you're running, all of them can get executed without any intervention. Now, for stop loss and targets, we normally suggest that you look at, in case if you're using a watch list, then we suggest that you look at a percentage based uh, stop loss and targets, so that based on the price of the stock that you're trading, it can determine the stop loss and targets. And whenever those levels are achieved, the trades can get executed. Or in case if it is already, sorry, if it is already, if the position is open and if the target or the stop loss is set, then the position will get closed. So for each of the components of the watch list to have a separate target and stop loss. We have not done that yet. Maybe at a later date, you could have a facility wherein you can specify for each stock in the watch list what should be the target and and stop loss in terms of points or percentage or even amount also. That will come at a later date. At the present form, you will need to set it as a percentage so that if you're trading in using watch list of stocks, uh, so it can determine based on the price of the stock what is the target and stop loss, and then instead of placing it as an amount, and then it can get executed as. Now, you can set Telegram alerts to be received. So whenever there's a signal generated and an order executed, you can get Telegram notification. So you need not have to be present in front of your system to know whether a signal has been generated or order has been executed. We have a bot in Telegram channel called Algomojo bot. So if you open that channel and then ask for the chart ID, it'll give you a chart ID. Use that in your strategy. Place that in your strategy for notifications. And for that particular strategy, whenever there's a signal or an order being placed, you'll get a notification. It's a simple thing to set up. We will have a look at that also. Then watch list, it's pretty useful for people who trade, say, using charting or even trading view or exploration in Amibroker kind of platforms where you scan lots of stocks, and you might get triggers for few stocks. So those only need to be executed in your platform. So to enable traders and investors to execute orders for multiple stocks, we have this facility for creating watch list. And if it is few in number, you can type it out manually. Or if the list that you're trading in or managing is pretty large, then you can use the CSV upload format that we are given. It's pretty simple. All you have to do is give the chart symbol, trading symbol, and the quantity and the capital that you want to get allocate for each of the stocks. So in case if it has to be determined, the quantity has to be determined dynamically based on the capital, it'll help. Otherwise, you can give a fixed quantity also. So whenever triggers are received for those particular stocks in the watch list, the orders will be executed. Now, some of the new features that we are working on and expected to be launched or made available shortly are currently the orders are placed as limit market orders only. There's no facility for placing limit orders as of now. but very shortly you will have a facility to place limit orders or stop loss market orders or stop loss limit orders as such. Then we are I think this would be ready for available for all users from Monday onwards, wherein suppose you have taken a position and the target or stop loss is hit, you do not want, say, for example, any further trades to be executed for that particular strategy during the day. You can set that also. You can say that, okay, whether you want to re-enter the strategy after a target or a stop loss is set, or not to re-enter, or in case you want to try out that strategy for, say, 5 trades, 5 times entry and exit, entry and exit, entry and exit. And after that, you don't want any further trades to be happening. So those kind of things can be set for re-entry into a strategy. So target and stop loss is taken as one count. So either target is met or stop loss is hit, then the trade is counted as one. So you can say if you want to trade 2 times or 3 times, you want to enter 3 times into that strategy. So we will take 3 entries of target and stop loss being hit. And then beyond that, we will stop executing any new signals that might get generated. This is more for a day as such. So every day you need to set, or if your default set it as yes or no, then that will continue as. Then a dynamic selection, option selections from the watch list can also be is another area that we are working on. That should be available very shortly. Then yeah, there's uh, another feature called copy trading facility, or you can share these signals to your families and friends who would like to also trade the same things that you are doing. So that is another area that we are working on. These are expected to be launched pretty shortly. Then option strategy, currently what is happening is if there are say 3 legs or 4 legs, you'll need to create them individually and group them together, and based on a single signal, all 4 legs or 3 legs which are there can get executed. However, we are coming out with a single click option strategy method where say if you say an iron condor or a butterfly or a strangle, depending on some predefined parameters, the entire all the legs will be created automatically by the system, and you can execute all the legs automatically. You need not have to create them separately. So that is another area. The work is in progress. It will be made available shortly. The areas that you can currently trade are equities. You can do cash trades, intraday or delivery, then futures and options. So you have NSE, BSE, and commodities, futures and options. Both dynamic and static options can be traded. So we recently have launched Nifty Next 50 also for options trading. So please try it out. We have currently integrated with close to about 27 brokers. Uh, these are the brokers with whom we have already done the API integration. So in case if you have an account with any of these brokers, you can start using our platform. So we provide 7 days trial for all users. Kindly make use of the trial period. Just check out all the facilities and features. See if it is meeting your requirements, and in case if you feel that yes, the platform is able to meet your trading and investment expectations, then you can go in for a subscription method. Alternative, another good thing that has happened very recently is that Zerodha used to charge for their APIs. They used to charge 2,000 rupees per month for the APIs. Now that they have made it free. So you, in case you have a Zerodha account in Zerodha, you can automate the signals and place orders in Zerodha without having to pay any API charges. So they have, I think, 3 methods of APIs possible. One is a paid method, or 2 of them are paid method, and one is where you get other facilities like market feed and WebSocket and developer support, all that. And for traders and investors, retail especially, there's a free version which they have made available. Kindly use that to automate orders. Uh, for placement in Zerodha account as such. This happened very recently. I think we got a communication yesterday saying that this has been enabled and it's available free of cost for all Zerodha users. Alternatively, you can, if you open an account with any of these seven brokers, Allies Blue, Dun, First Stop, Fires, or Goodwill, Upstart, or Zebu, you will get APIs free of cost from Algomojo for lifetime as such. So you need not have to pay anything extra to use all the facilities that are available in our platform. It will be completely free of cost for you. So if you don't have any account in these seven brokers, kindly use Algomojo as a referral and then open an account and make use of the API facility that we are offering free of cost for life as such. I'll show you how to uh, open an account with Algomojo as the referral. Any questions so far? Yeah. Now, for automation, it is normally a two-step process. One is where we define certain things in Algomojo as to what are the things that one needs to set up in Algomojo, and then once you do that, we get into the second part or the process where, say, if you're using TradingView, you have to create an alert. If you're using an Amibroker, you will need to download certain modules and integrate them. So it's just a copy paste kind of thing. We have tried and kept it very simple as a process for automation. So we will look at some of the facilities and see how we do the automation. You will find that pretty simple. It's not complex at all. Like as I was mentioning, you need not have to touch any part of the code or programming part. It is just simple copy paste of a couple of things. That's it. So if you do that, you'll be able to automate the signals and place orders. So what we will do is we will look at the Algomojo platform and then look at how do we do a setup and then how do we do a integration with some of the strategies or indicators in TradingView today. In case if you have any, if you would like to look at anything particular, please use the Q&A box and let me know. I will try and address them. Yeah. So if you go to algomojo.com, you have a facility called open an account. Now, in case you want to open a new account with any of these seven brokers to avail the APIs free of cost, do it from here. Okay, all you have to do is go to algomojo.com, say open an account, fill up these details, your name, email ID, phone number, and select the broker with whom you want to go ahead with. And after that, it will take you to the broker's web page and it will ask you to do the complete process of account opening. And normally, any account will get opened within a day or two. Once you get a confirmation from your broker with the client ID and the password and other credentials, you will be able to start using our platform. So use this referral and avail the APIs that Algomojo provides for automation without any charges. So in case if you already have an account, all you have to do is come to algomojo.com or and log into your account. So use the login button. So uh, I already logged in, so it is taking me to that page directly. Let me try and log out and try it again. So if you have an account with any of these brokers with whom we have done the API integration, select them from the drop down. And for login, all you have to do is use the same credentials which your broker would have given. That is your client ID, password, TOTP. The process is the same. There's no other different authentication system to be used, or no other ID or password to be used. It is the same thing that you normally use to log into a broker account. Use the same thing here also. So you select the broker and say login with the broker. It will ask you to update the client ID, and here you will need to provide the password which the broker would have given, and then it will ask for the TOTP, or depending on the broker, it could be OTP also. So you update the TOTP or OTP. Let me try and update the TOTP here. I'll be using TradeGenie as the account for today's demo. So once you do that, you will be logged into Algomojo and be ready to place orders in whichever broker that you use for the process. So in this case, it will be trading. So by default, after you log in, the uh, user interface for all the brokers is the same. You will have a summary sheet which will give you details about what are the funds available, what are the holdings, etc. You can also create watch list here and try and if you want to place any orders manually, you can do that from here itself. So you can say you want to buy, say, Reliance or any stock, you can put that in the watch list and place orders from here itself. So all you have to do is log into this one particular web page, and all your trading and investments can happen from here, except that say transfer of funds, or if you want any backend reports, those you for those you will need to get into their the broker's account as broker's web page or broker's back office, so as such, and do the either transfer or withdraw the funds kind of. Normally, any broker allow for only one account to be opened for a particular user. They don't allow multiple accounts for each user. So if you have opened an account with Zerodha, with using all your details, PAN number, Aadhaar, all that, you will not be able to do one more account with Zerodha. So it has to be in your family or friend's name. So each user will be identified. I think they typically go by the Aadhaar and PAN numbers and mobile number associated with the user, and provide one account. Now, if you have say taken a subscription with us for an account for automation, you can use it for only for one particular account. Suppose you want to handle multiple accounts, so you'll need to log into multiple accounts in Algomojo, and you'll need to have subscription for all the users. That's it. Suppose you want to trade in your account, your say spouse's account or child's account or your friend's account. So for each of them, you'll need a separate subscription from Algomojo, or for if you open an account for all the family members or friends using Algomojo as the referral, you can get APIs free for all of them as such. So once you have logged in using your credentials into Algomojo webpage, you will see multiple tabs on the left side. The first tab is what gives you the details about the APIs and API key and API secret. It will also tell you how many days it is valid, and if you opened Algomojo as a referral, then this will be for lifetime as such. Now, otherwise, if you are already having an account and you want to use the Algomojo, the first time when you open this, log into this page, it will ask you to generate the API, and that should be valid for 7 days. After that, you can do a renewal. All you have to do is just go to this renewal pay button. It will give you multiple options. So 7 days trial is available for everybody. Then you have a monthly, half yearly, and yearly. On a yearly basis, it works out to 500 rupees for you per month, and all features are available. Whatever the features which are currently there and which are going to be launched going forward will be available for all the users. So, right. So the first step is to get the API. So after you generate the API, then you'll need to set up what is that you want to trade. The way to do that is we go to a tab called My Strategies here and create a strategy. We call it as a strategy, wherein we mention what is that we want to trade. For example, on the top, these are all predefined strategies which I had created earlier. Uh, this page will be empty when you do it for the first time. So use this new strategy button to open up a page which will ask for you to update the details of what is that you want to trade. To begin with, it will ask for a name. You can say that, okay, give a name, demo, say Nifty futures. And a rule is something which I'll get into more details. It's very, very important to understand what each rule means, because in case if there's a mismatch in the rule that you're selected and the way your strategy is working, then the orders will not go through as per the expectations. So let me try and start with this last rule. And when we go to a chart and look at various signals, I'll try and explain what each rule means. Otherwise, also you will be able to understand these rule details once you hover the cursor on each of the rule. It will tell you what exactly it does. So let me select this stop and reversal as the rule. And then next step is to look at what is the segment that we want to trade in. Say, let me, if we want to trade in, say, futures, Nifty futures, select the second option, futures and options. Then select the symbol by typing in a few uh, letters of the instrument that you want to trade in. Select from the drop down, say Nifty futures March contract. Or typically by default, it will be normal. If you're an intraday trader, you can change this to MIS. And by default, the price is market. We are going to come out with the other price types also, like limit or stop loss limit or um, those kind of things. So once those are available, there will be additional drop downs which you will be able to select and use them as such. And I'll mention next is to define how much quantity that you want to trade in. Suppose you want to trade in, say, 50 lots. So it will tell you what is the quantity for depending on the instrument that you're trading. Once you type in the lot, it will tell you the quantity, and accordingly it will split the orders also. If it is more than the freeze limit, it will split and place multiple orders. So by default, it will look at what is the freeze limit set by the exchange, and then accordingly, it will split and place multiple orders to meet your complete quantity fulfillment. Next is in case if you want to do a rollover or not, you can do it from here. Chart symbol, you can leave it blank. It will take whatever is available from here. And rest of the things, these are the basic things that are required for you to start the trading or investment uh, setup. The other additional ones could be that if you want to do a uh, target or stop loss in terms of percentage points or MTM, you can do that from here by selecting target and stop loss and TSL as such, which all can be set based on points and percentage and MTM as such. So for as a first example, let me try and keep it as none. Then by default, the start time is at 9:15. End time is when you want the signals not to be processed. Sorry. Suppose you don't want any signals to be processed, say after 2 o'clock. You can say that, okay, after 2 o'clock, you can set the time as end time as 2 o'clock. So any signals coming in after 2 o'clock will not be processed as such. Now, square off time is if you're an intraday trader and you would like to close the position, say at say 2:45 or 3:05 in the afternoon, you can set the time here. Otherwise, by default, whatever is the broker's cutoff time, they will square it off for you. And expiry also, on expiry day, at what time do you want to roll over? If you have selected the rollover, you will need to set the expiry square of time also. Otherwise, if you're not done that, leave it blank. And once the basic details are updated, all you have to do is update this sheet. And if everything is all information is provided, it will get saved, and a couple of things get generated. One is a webhook URL. The second part is some codes which needs to be used in TradingView. Say if we are using a strategy in TradingView, what are the code to be copy pasted there? So if you're an indicator, what is the code to be copy pasted there? So these are generated. All you have to do is copy these things and paste it there. So we will look at a couple of examples to see how do we do automation when using a strategy and an indicator, and how to copy paste or where to copy paste these information in trading. So once you define what is that you want to trade in Algomojo, the strategy will be saved here. You can enable the live trade or paper trade. Always start with the paper trade, and once you feel that okay, the orders are getting placed or signals are getting processed as per your requirements, and you are satisfied with, try and test it for a couple of days. And once you find that things are going as per the expectation, move on to the live trade and such. Now you can place orders for the strategy that you created from here itself. Say, for example, if you want to initiate a buy, you can do that from here. Once you say buy, since we're saying it as a paper trade, you will be able to see those under My Signals, tab called My Signals. If you go here, it'll show you that a manual buy signal has been generated at so and so time and from so and so IP. So you have various tabs under this My Signals tab. So one is the signal, the next is the orders tab. It will show you what order was placed and what is the current position. So it will show you that strategy wise, it will give you a listing of all the positions that are running. So this is what we just created. So Nifty futures, we had selected 75 lots. So the average price and LTP are being shown from here. Now, in a live market, you will be able to see that the prices keep updating and the P&L and MTO will also be updated. So after you do this, say if you're in a position and you want to square off that position or close the position, you can do it from here. Say, come here and say square off. It will close the position here and the quantity becomes zero. So you can see that the order was closed manually. It was squared off and no portion is open. So this is the first step of defining what is that you want to trade, what instrument, what quantity, whether it is MIS or whether it is carry forward. All that needs to be defined here. And then we get into, say, trading view and see what is the setup to be done. Any queries, anything so far? Okay, so let's look at some examples in using TradingView. Now, when you're automating from TradingView, a couple of things to be noted. One is that you will need to have a subscription for TradingView. The free version doesn't support the webhook URL facility, so you'll need to have the subscription of TradingView. So once you have the TradingView subscription, and the first step is to look at what is the instrument that you want to trade. Let's look at say Bitcoin today, that market is open, we will be able to see some live signals. Okay. Select the instrument that you want to handle. The market is, it's pretty slow, but still, we'll try and see if we can get some live trades. Next is to look at what is the time frame you want to trade in. Say if it is say 1 minute, select the time frame. So after you have set the time frame, load the strategy. So I'll try and use super trend for today's demo. So load your strategy, which what it could be any strategy which you have in trading view. It all it has to do is give a buy or a sell signal. So if you have that strategy running and it is able to provide this buy sell signals, so whenever these are triggered on your chart, those orders can be placed and placed automatically. So have the strategy loaded, then create an alert for that particular strategy. The way to create an alert is to go to the strategy that you loaded, use the three dots, the more button, and say add strategy. So it will open up a pop-up window wherein you will need to update the message box, whatever is there by default, remove that, and collect the information that we have provided here. Sorry, yeah, in the strategy that we just created. So copy this information strategy like date and action this and go to Algo trading view, paste it here, copy this and paste it. Second is to update the webhook URL. Again, go to Algomojo for that particular strategy which you just created. Copy this webhook URL and paste it here. That's it. So that is all the thing that needs to be done to automate. Say now you say create. So whenever there's a signal coming in, it'll start getting executed in your account. So the strategy that we just created was this. Let me try and give it a name. Yeah. So the alert that you have just created here will be shown, and it'll wait for the signal. So once your strategy gives a sell signal now, um, that will be picked up and the order will be placed into your account. Now, for example, yeah, looking at this, uh, suppose you feel that okay, there's a buy running already, and you would like to take this order, enter this trade, and after that want to leave it to the system to run it. So what you can do is take a long trade manually first time from here, for example. You go here and say buy. You need to always take it from our web page because only then we will know that okay, it is related to this trade or strategy that we have created, that you've taken a position either long or short. So it will be shown here. You're taking this manually at some time and the position is running. So we have 75 quantity which is running. So after this now, whenever there is a sell signal coming in from trading view, the long trade will be closed and the short trade will be taken. So that is how the system would work. So you can take the position and after that you can leave it for the chart to keep to take it forward for any new trades that would coming in. And these are all one-time setup that you need to do. So after you do this, create alert creation, it will keep running for you. So you need not have to keep looking at your computer or your systems and keep waiting for the orders. You need not have to do anything. So whenever the chart is giving a signal, either a buy or a sell, it will automatically be taken up and placed in your account. It is as simple as that. All you have to do is just copy paste the message box content and the webhook URL. These are the only two things required to be copy and pasted. Yeah. So suppose you have a spread option. So you create both the legs and then group those legs together and based on one trigger of buy or sell, both the legs or multiple legs which are there created in the option strategies can get executed. Yes. Any queries on how do we handle a strategy kind of thing? Also, you need to have a strategy in any platform, like for example, TradingView. It could be any strategy. It could be UT bot or it could be ATR based or whatever strategy that you have found and tested, and you would like to automate those signals which come in from that strategy. So just load that strategy and create an alert where you update the message box content. Like here, go here and then update these two things, message box and give the webhook URL. That's it. It is as simple as that. You need not have to do any other process to automate the signals which are generated in the charting tool here. It's as simple as that. Important is to have a good strategy which you would have tried and tested and you would like to trade with that. So once you achieve that, all you have to do is load that and create an alert. It is one-time activity. And after that, the systems can keep running for you and the trades will get executed whenever there's a signal. It could be intraday, it could be positional, it could be carry forward, it could be swing trade, any kind of trades. So all you we need to ensure is that anyway, TradingView is running in a cloud platform. Every day morning, all you have to do is come to Algomojo and log in the morning. And by default, these strategies would be in inactive state like this. So you have to enable for paper trade or live trade every day in the morning. Kindly do it as close to the market open time as such, because if you do it early in the morning, say 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, then the brokers would not have updated their system. So the tokens that they provide for this API trading would get expired or would get refreshed, and signals may not get executed. So try and keep it or enable these web pages as close to market open time as such. That's it. Yes. Any queries? Anything like to know on how to do a strategy based automation? It can be anything. If you want to see any other strategy, if it's available in TradingView, we can load that and check and see how do we automate that. There's no limit to the live strategies. You can have any number of live strategies, any number of live orders also. There are some brokers who limit, like I think one or two brokers, they have a limit as to the number of trades that they allow per user, but we don't have any limitations. You can have any number of strategies, any number of orders getting executed in live. Of course, for paper trade, we have put a limit of 200 orders per day for each strategy. So, but for there's no limitation for live trading. Anything would like to understand in terms of the setup that we just did? Anybody? Any queries? Otherwise, let's look at another example. Say how to trade in options. Say, for example, we'll say demo BN bank options, bank nifty options. So, before I get into that, let me try and explain what are the rules which are there with relation to the uh, chart that we were looking at. Now, yeah. So while we were discussing, we see that, okay, there's one sell signal which has got triggered. We will be able to see that there's a sell triggered for the strategy. Let's look at what has happened to that sell signal. So go to my signals here and look at this. So we had taken this my order manually, and sell signal has come at 10:57. We had taken this at 10:51, and that order, long order, has been closed and a short position has been taken. So now short portion of 75 quantity or 75 lots is running. So, so there's no intervention there, and the setup is just one time in both Algomojo and in TradingView. So based on whenever the signals are coming in, it will keep working. It will keep getting executed. It's as simple as that. So let's try and see how do we do a uh, uh, automation for the options. We were looking at creating one strategy for Nifty, Bank Nifty options. Yeah, I was also mentioning there are a couple various types of rules. Let's try and look at each of these rules in relation to the strategy as such. Now, there's a rule called long only, short only, long plus short, and long plus short, buy, sell, short cover, and stop and reversal. What do these mean, and how what you should select is dependent on how your strategy is structured, or how your strategy is programmed to generate signals. Now, we were looking at a strategy like super trend, which is always in trade. It is either long or short. So when there's a long signal, buy signal, it will take a long position, and when there's a short signal, it will close the long position and take the reverse of that. So it will keep alternating between long and short. So that is why we say that, okay, there's stop and reverse. Like whatever trade it is running, it has to stop and take the reverse position. So now short is running. When there's a buy coming in, it will stop the short trade and take the long trade, the reverse trade of that. So that is how for these kind of strategies, which are always in trade, like long or short or buy or sell, use the rule called stop and reverse. So it will take all the signals and get executed as per the strategy. Now, there are strategies which people use where what happens is, say you take a short entry like this, and after some time, your target or a stop loss is hit, and it will give a buy signal or an exit signal of that short trade. And after that, there is no further trade at all. So, in those kind of situations, you need to use this rule called long plus short, long plus short, buy and sell. Buy and sell, short cover, long plus short. The fourth rule, what you see, is more to do with Amibroker kind of environment where they also provide short and cover signals. Very few trading view strategies have short and cover kind of actions, but Amibroker has that pretty frequently. A lot of strategies use short and cover also as actions. Trading view normally uses buy or sell. So in such a situation, use this long plus short buy sell, third rule. So it will meet that or serve that purpose of getting into a trade, and when it exits, it will close this trade running and not take any new position. It will wait for the next new signal to be triggered as. Now, when do we use the long only or short only? Suppose you are a trader, you want to trade only the buy signals. You feel that, okay, going forward, the market is trending up. So I'll take only the long signals. So then you use the rule called long only. So what happens is when there's a buy coming in, it will take the entry. And when the sell comes, it will close that long portion and wait for the next buy to come in. It will not trigger the sell portion. It will not take the short portions at all. It will take only the long portions. So that is the purpose of long only kind of rule. Or if you are a trader who would like to trade only in short portions, or if you feel that the market is trending down, so I'll take only the short positions and not want to go with any buy or long positions, then use short only as the rule. So it will ignore all the buys. It will take the short position for you, and when a buy comes, it will close this short position and not, wait for the next short signal to be generated or sell signal to be generated. It will not take the reverse position of same buy. So that is how the rules are determined. So it is important to understand from your strategy that you're going to deploy, how is it working? Like always imagine it with a strategy like super trend, whether it is always in trade, either long or short, or whether it gets into a trade after some time, it will close and wait. Then you know that, okay, it's a different rule to be deployed. So based on that, you can determine what is the rule applicable for the strategy that you want to automate. In case if you're not able to determine, kindly get in touch with us. We will be able to have a look at your screen and suggest what will be the rule to be used. There's an extensive documentation provided. In case if you still have queries on that, we can look at your strategy, the way it is structured, and then suggest what rule to be used as such. Yeah. So we will look at another example as to how do we trade in, say, Bank Nifty options. I would say that, okay, so I'll keep the same rule, stop and reverse. And in terms of options, we'll look at a dynamic option. So we will look at Bank Nifty, then look at an expiry of this one. We will look at ITM 5. You can select up to 20 strikes ITM or 20 strikes OTM. So depending on when the signal is received, whatever is the spot price, we'll calculate what is the ITM 5 or OTM 5, whatever you have selected. Based on that, we'll be able to trigger the strike price for you, order for the strike price that you have selected. So then we will say that, okay, we are going to buy, we are not a seller, we'll buy the option. Then order type is normal, price type is market. Then we will say again, say 100 lots. So it will show you that the quantity is 3000 from here itself. It will split into multiples of 900 quantity and place multiple orders to fill this 3000 quantity that you want to trade. So in case if you want to put in the target and stop loss, you can mention those here. Otherwise, default, you can leave it. If those are being handled from your strategy level, you need not have to update any of the other fields here. So do a submit. So it will generate the webhook URL and the codes that are provided. So let us look at, say, for example, an indicator based entry and exit. So we'll go to trading view. Now, in case you want to see any indicator, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be using RSI for the demo purpose. So load any of the indicators, for example, RSI. Same thing. The first step is the stock that you want to trade. Here we have selected the Bitcoin, then the time frame, and then load the indicator. So I loaded RSI as the indicator. So once you load the indicator, you will need to again create an alert. So when you're using indicator or a price-based trigger for say target or stop loss kind of thing, then you need to create two alerts, one for entry and one for exit. However, if you're running a strategy like Super Trend, it is just one alert like what we did here. So that will take care of both entry and exit as such. Yeah. So for indicator or price-based entry, we will need to create two alerts, one for entry and another one for exit. Now let's try and see trigger if the indicator comes about say 30 kind of level. So how do we do that? So here we go and say that okay, create an alert, add alert on stochastic. If the value is going to cross up from below a value of say 35, then it has to get triggered at the close of that bar. So we will need to update this condition. We'll need to update this trigger and then give a name, for example, demo VN options. And in the message box, we will, or I will rename this as demo VN option entry. And in the message box, we will need to copy a different signal or different content. Unlike strategy, we need to copy the buy or the sell that we want to create. So since our first entry is going to be buy, we will take buy as the code, copy it from here and go to trading view and update it here. Second step is to update the webhook URL. So by default, the previous webhook URL will be there. Just replace that with the webhook URL related to this Bank Nifty option. Copy this webhook URL here, go back to trading view and update it here. So that's it. So copy paste of this message box content and webhook URL and say create. That's it. So once you create this indicator, it will be updated in the list. As you can see, it's being shown here, and it will also be displayed on the screen here. You can see this dotted line point with a right pointing arrow. So this is the level. When the RSI closes above this level, it will trigger a Bank Nifty CE entry. Okay. Before that, we will enable this strategy that we just created. So if it is not enabled, the signal will get uh, rejected, saying that please enable live trade or paper trade. So always start with the paper trade. Try it out for a few times or few cycles, and once you know that okay, it is getting executed as per your expectation, only then shift over to the live trade. So going back here, so let us wait for the RSI to get triggered or close above this 30. So this is again one-time entry. So you can keep shifting this. If you want it to be moved up here, say you can just drag it up and or drag it down depending on your study. So either do that or you can update the go and change the levels from here also. Instead of say 30, make it say 45. So the line will get shifted. So now you will have a situation where if the RSI closes above 45, then the long entry will be taken. So this is for entry, and similarly, we will need to create one for exit. Now, if we want the long entry to be closed after the RSI say crosses above 80 and starts coming down a level of 70, we want the long position to be closed and a short position to be taken. So we will try and see how do we do that. So once you create this alert here, just go and do a clone of this alert that you just created. It'll copy the entire thing. We just go edit here. And instead of crossing up, we'll say crossing down a level of say 70 or 65. And we will say again per bar close, and we will give the name as exit. And instead of buy, we will say sell. Rest of the things remaining the same, we will save this. So what it typically does is if the RSI goes above this level of 65 that we have mentioned and starts coming down and the candle closes below 65, it will close the long entry and trigger the short entry. In this case, it will close the long entry, that is CE, and take the PES. Was it triggered? Yes, as you can see, the level of 640 that we had indicated, 45 that we had indicated has got closed and the candle was closed and a buy entry has been triggered. We can see that order from here. Go to Algomojo, go to signals, and in the signals, select the strategy that you want just created. For example, we said that a Bank Nifty options. So as you can see, we have received a long signal at 11:10 and the order was placed for CE entry, multiple orders of because we had selected quantity which was 3000. So it has got filled. You can see that this is the ITM file level that we had chosen. So that has got triggered and it keeps running for you. And when now you get a signal, say if the RSI closes above or crosses this level of 65 and starts coming down the level of 65, then it will close the CE and take the reverse order because the rule that we have used is stop and reverse. So it will close the long end portion and take the short portion. That's how it will work. Any queries on how do we? Uh, it's the same process to be followed for any kind of indicator. Suppose you have ADX or CCI or ROC, anything. So it has to have this facility to create an alert. You just go load the study there and say create an alert, and it will ask you to specify the condition when you want the entry and when should it be triggered. And in the message box, you update the content with either a buy or sell kind of action and update the webhook URL. That is it. You're ready for receiving the signal and the order getting placed. It is as simple as that. There's no other complication involved at all. You can load any kind of indicator, any kind of strategy, and automate those signals. So whenever these conditions that you're specifying here are met, the orders will be triggered and it will get placed in your account. So if you're doing a live trade, it will be a live order that will be placed with your broker. If it's a paper trade, then it will be placed in Algomojo platform itself. You will be able to see during the working hours, working days, the live P&L for all the strategies that you're running. If you have multiple strategies, then select all of them. It will show you what are the strategies which are live, paper trade live for Nifty, paper trade live for Bank Nifty options. So the Nifty option is running in short and this is running in long. So you will have the P&L and M2M being updated live during the working hours as such. It's as simple as that to automate any of the orders, any of the signals. So in TradingView, it is important to have a good study that you want to automate with, work with, and you're backtested and you want to take those signals whenever they are getting generated in TradingView and the orders need to be executed. All you have to do is create an alert. If it is strategy, just one alert. If it is indicator, you have to create two alerts. One is for entry, the other one is for exit. Any queries? Anything else? Anybody would like to understand anything on this so far? Okay, now we'll look at one more example where, say, for example, you have taken a, we'll create a new strategy for trading in Nifty options. Say we'll say demo NF options, and we'll give a rule as, say, for example, buy and short, buy sell. Then we will see this as dynamic options. Then we will select Nifty and current month expiry. and we'll keep it as ATM, and we'll say that we are buying, and order type is normal, price type is market, and we'll say one lot to be traded. So these are basic things that to be updated. Once we do this, we submit the strategy, and it'll create the webhook URL for this particular strategy. And actions are similar. It is irrespective of the strategy. Most important is the webhook URL. A unique webhook URL will be created for each of the strategies, which will tell us what is the order to be placed as such. Yeah. So once you do this, okay, we will enable this for paper trade, and let us generate a signal, uh, a buy signal. And from here, you can see that, okay, uh, order has been triggered for Nifty, one lot of options buy. Yeah. On what is the order triggered? We can see it from here. You can see that, okay, 23,850 is the strike price, and the quantity is one lot. Price is 10.3. That was yesterday's closing as such. And the position can be seen here. Now, suppose you have taken an entry and you want to put a stop loss or a target for this from TradingView as such. Now you go to TradingView and say that, okay, uh, if the price comes to this level of 84,400, or say 84, say 84,450, you want the long trade to be closed. So all you have to do is create an alert, a target alert or a stop loss alert from here. So go to the level. Let me take a level here. Right click the cursor and say add alert, and indicate that when the price is crossing up this level of say 84,500. Okay. I want this cell to be triggered. So what we'll do is here only one, say NF exit. In the message box, we will put this condition of cell. Go to indicator, select this content in TradingView, paste this here, and we will link this to the strategy of Nifty option, which we have taken manually. So copy the webhook URL from here, go to TradingView and update the webhook URL, right? So once you put in these details and say create, the level will be indicated here. Suppose somebody was asking, how do you put a target or a stop loss? And when that target is met, how do you close that order? So this is the way it has to be done. So you have taken an entry, for example, manually or based on whatever strategy or whatever is your logic. And from the chart, you want to trigger a target or a stop loss order. All you have to do is create an alert like this, and say we had kept it at 84,500, I can shift it down further, either by dragging it down like this, or I can go to the alert that has been set, and I didn't see the slide now. Sorry. Yeah. Demo NF exit. So this is the alert that we have created. So you can alter the levels either by typing in or by dragging it up or down. So let's try and keep this to 84,315. So long trade which we took manually, if it achieves this target level of 84,350, I want that trade to be closed, is what we are trying to automate as such. So this can be any level. This can be based on any chart. Suppose you're trading on a Reliance chart and you're taken an entry in Reliance, you can set it up there, or it can be Nifty or Bank Nifty, any instrument. So create the alert based on the price. When the price reaches that level, it will trigger the exit view. That's it. It is as simple as that. It can be, so here we are looking at this exit of sell. Suppose you wanted a stop loss. Similarly, you can create one more, say for example, here, add alert. And again, you say crossing down a value of say 84,200. Update the same webhook URL like what we have given. And in the settings, put this portion of sell. So this we will say as demo NFJSL stop loss and say create. So you have a stop loss limit that you created and you had created a target level also. Now the target has been achieved and the order should have got triggered. Not yet. It is still waiting for that level to be crossed. I think they're given the 350. Yeah, 350. It is almost achieving that. So if it triggers that level, it will exit the position that we have taken here. The C that we have taken here, the one lot of CE will get executed. It will exit this position. So when the price this reaches its level of 84,350, it is still around 84,346. So you can keep shifting this level. And similarly, you can create one more for stop loss and one for target. So these are all one-time creations. You can just create it and leave it there. And if you don't want to use them, you can pause those things. You go here and say pause, or you can delete it. So do the setups one time for indicator or for price based actions, and that's it. You can keep using it whenever you want them to be active on pause them whenever we are not trading or you don't want the signals to be generated. That's it. Any clarification on this? Somebody is asking what target and stop loss. How do we do it from the chart? This is how we can do it from the chart. So we have taken the portion manually, and when the portion reaches to the extent that you were anticipating, it'll when it comes to that level, it'll get triggered and the portion will get closed. I suppose that is what you are looking at. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody would like to understand how to automate using a strategy or a indicator or even a price-based action? Kindly use the Q&A box. You can type in your queries here. So it can be any study. Suppose using, say, if you are using a trend line, a lot of people use trend lines drawings, right? You mark a trend line like this and have one more trend line, say, for example, and when there's a breakout, you want to take a long entry, and when there's a breakdown, you want to take a short entry. All you have to do is mark your studies on the chart, right click on that, and say add alert on the trend line. So here, if it's going to cross down, you want to do a sell if the bar closes once and update the message content like for sell, use a sell. For if it is buy, use the buy as the action and create an alert. So it will wait for the price either to break down or break out. So for breakout, create one more. For breakdown, create one. So it can be any kind of study as such. So, either a drawing or a ready-made strategy or a ready-made indicators which are there in TradingView, you'll find a lot of useful strategies and indicators. Use those, and then whenever those levels are triggered or actions are given for buy or sell, the orders can get executed. Currently, none of the Indian brokers are enabled for, say, exchanging, trading with Bitcoin or cryptos as such. So, for whatever is the reason, we will not be able to support cryptos as of now. So, whenever any of the brokers start providing a facility for trading in crypto, we will be able to do it. Delta Exchange, we have not done the integration yet. Anything else that anybody would like to understand or see in how to use uh, TradingView for setting up various situations for triggering an entry and exit? We can try and go through it. All you have to do is have a indicator or a strategy or a uh, study in terms of trend line or resistance and support. Create the alerts for those studies for entry and exit and as a one-time activity. Post that, whenever those conditions are met, the the alerts will trigger the entry or the exit, and the orders can get placed for you. Yes, in case if you have multiple legs based on one signal, for example, if it gives a sell here and you have four legs in a option-based strategy, all of them can get triggered based on one signal. Yeah, see, there are in terms of rules, there are uh, rules like we were looking at it. Yeah. There are typically four rules divided into, say, five sections. I would say long only, short only, long plus short, buy sell, long plus short, buy sell, short cover. These are very similar, except that short cover are actions which are normally used in Amibroker kind of environment. So if you are using Amibroker, we would suggest look at short and cover. Typically, most signals coming from TradingView would be in buy sell kind of mode. There are some strategies or some studies we have seen where TradingView also shares short and cover as signals. Then you can use short and cover also. Otherwise, you can stick with buy and sell, long plus short. Yeah. Right. So, when do we use what kind of rule? Let me try and go through it again. So, you have a rule like long only, short only, long plus short, and stop and reverse. This is dependent on the study that you want to automate. Now, if you are using a strategy which is very similar to a super trend is always a trade, either long or short. Then, so when a long is triggered, you want a long position either in terms of futures or cash or options to be taken. And then when the short sell is coming in, you want the long to be closed and short to be taken. So if you're trading in that manner, or if your strategy is similar to, say, like a super trend, then use a rule called stop and reverse. What it does is it will take a long entry, for example, here, and when sell comes, it will close the long entry or stop the long entry and take the reverse of that. That is, we stop the long entry and take the reverse portion, which is the short entry. So that is why it is called a stop and reverse kind of situation rule to be used. Now, if you're a trader who would like to trade only long signals, say if you feel that okay, market is going to trend upwards only now for some time, and you not like to take any short entries for now, then use long only as the rule. So what it does is when a long comes, it will take a long entry, and when a short is triggered, it will close the long entry and not take the short position. So it will trigger only the longs. So and when the sell comes, it will close the long portion and not take the reverse. Similarly, in a downtrending markets, if you want to take only the short entries, then use a rule called short only. It will honor only the short triggers. So when a short comes, it will take a short position, either a PE or a short in the future as such, or if you intraday equity, then it's a short in equity. Then when the buy comes, it will close that short portion and not take the long portion. So for those kind of traders who want to trigger only short trades, then use the short only as the rule. And in case if your strategy involves a method like, say, for example, a buy entry is taken, and after some time, say for at this level, the exit happens and there's no trade for some time. So, and after that, again, a buy could come or a sell could come. So, depending on how the price moves and your strategy calculates an entry. So those kind of strategies, which are not always in trade, which is intermittently in trade, then use the rule called long plus short, buy, sell. In case if you're programmed or your trading view also to send short and cover, then use short and cover. Otherwise, typically long plus short, buy, sell is the rule to be used. That is all is required in terms of rule. Uh, a detailed explanation or brief explanation are provided here. What each rule means, when to use those. In case if you have any further clarification, you can either contact us or go through the documentation. You can see the documentation here, and if you go to this documentation, it's give details about all the rules and all the steps involved as such. Now, if your strategy is giving long plus short, if it is a strategy, not an indicator, not a price-based action. If it is a strategy like a super trend, which is giving long plus short, uh, say buy, it will give a sell here, and at this level it will give a short, and here it could give a cover kind of rule. Then what you need to use is uh, the fourth rule. See, also what you need to while testing, you can try it out. Use the fourth rule called, sorry, long plus short, buy, sell, short cover. Use the fourth rule. See, we come across strategies on the chart, they will show it as buy, then sell, then short, and then cover. However, while sending the signals, they will send it as buy, sell only. Though on the chart, they might be showing you as buy, sell, short, and cover. Whereas if they are sending the action here, like what we saw here, in the rule, you can see that the action which has come in the first trade signal is buy, and here also it is buy. Here it is sell. Here it is sell. Here it is buy. In the action, if they're sending only two actions, either buy or sell, then the rule to be used is the third one. So do a paper trade and see what is the action coming in. How do you check that? All you have to do is go here to my signals, look at any of the strategies. For example, here, let's take one of the here. So it is sending this is the action which is coming. Here it is buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Now, here, if you find they are sending buy, sell, short, and cover, then the fourth rule need to be used. But if they are sending only buy and sell, but on the chart they are showing it as buy, sell, short, cover, then use the third rule. It's important to note what is the action they are sending. Based on that, you select this rule. So do a paper trade, understand what is the action they are sending. If they're sending four actions, buy, sell, short, cover, then use the fourth rule. If they're sending only two actions, which is buy or sell, then use the third rule, which is long plus short, buy, sell. See, for if you're running a strategy, then like a super trend, then you have to use the rule like sorry, in the message box, um, the content only varies. The rule of long plus short, you need not have to worry. That is dependent on how your strategy is configured, right? So the message content, what you are trying to paste is dependent on how, and the rule that is to be set is dependent on how your strategy is configured to run as such. Now, for example, if it is a strategy, then the action here is strategy.order.action. So the trading view, when the your study is triggering a buy or a sell, it will send this action of buy or sell. So that is automatically determined by the strategy. Whereas when an indicator, as you know, indicator doesn't give buy sell signals as such. Like in a strategy, it doesn't give you buy sell signals. It gives you the values only. We are determining when to enter and when to exit. So in such kind of situation, if you know that you want to make an entry of buy when the price crosses above, then use the message box content which is having these details: buy or sell or short or cover, right? And uh, like typically what happens in an indicator is you would like to take an entry here, and maybe when it comes here, you want to close and not take any new entry, and you would further wait for again either to just to move up, or whether you want to trade longs, whether you want to take short also, or only longs, or both kind of signals. Then you have to create two alerts, one for long entry and one for long exit, and also take the reverse of the position. Now, if you want to take a reverse of the position, use the stop and reverse as a rule. In case if you don't want that, then you use the rule of long plus short, buy sell. That's Ha. See, if your strategy is sending buy sell signals, like how do you determine what is a strategy and what is an indicator? The difference is that when you load a strategy and say create an alert, it will ask you to only update the message box. So as you can see here, there's nothing to be else to be updated. You have to update just the message box and the notification, right? This is how you do it for a strategy. Now, there are super trend indicators. How do you determine whether that's a strategy or an indicator? When you click on that alert creation button, it will show you that it will ask you to update the condition, also ask you to update the trigger. Then you know that, okay, this is an indicator, it is not a strategy. So that is the time when you have to create two alerts, one for entry and one for exit. So when you load a study, see, in this example, we have loaded a super trend, which is a strategy. Now, if you load a strategy, if you load on your chart, there are when you go to indicator section and when you type a strategy name, it will load here, and you click on the add alert button here, and if you see just one box to be updated, you know that, okay, this is a strategy which is configured to give you buy and sell signals. So then you use strategy.action. That's it. Strategy.order.action. That is the message content box to be updated with. Otherwise, you have to create two alerts, one for entry, one for exit, either a buy or a sell. So that's how you can differentiate between a strategy and an indicator. Though it might show buy sell like this, what we are seeing exactly, but when you click on the alert creation button here, you will see a difference. If it is an indicator, then you will need to have a condition and trigger. You will have those both to be updated. If it is a strategy, you will just need, you will not get the trigger and condition. Condition might come like for some studies like this. Okay. Here we have loaded multiple strategies. That's why it is showing condition, which strategy to be used. Otherwise, it will just show you that condition as super trend only, and not give you any option to select from. And there'll be a trigger also condition to be updated if it is a uh, indicator. And accordingly, you'll need to update the message box content. So be careful in what you select the content to be updated with. If you find the condition and trigger both need to be updated, then you have to create two alerts, one for entry and one for exit. So you will have an action of buy or a sell. If it is just a strategy, then it is action dot ordered strategy dot order dot action. That's all. Hope that clarifies. In case if you have any further queries, or if you find that it is not going as per your requirement, kindly get in touch with us. We will assist you. We are available on all working days. I'll share the uh, contact details, our customer support details also. Now, coming back onto yeah, these are the rules we were talking about. You have a long only, short only, long plus short, buy, sell, short cover, and stop and reversal. So be clear in terms of how your strategy is configured and accordingly select the rule. And in case if you find that there's a mismatch, you can always do a paper trade, check and alter this trade rule that you're going to use, and then uh, apply the rule, different rule, and check if it is meeting the purpose as such. We will try and share the PPT. Otherwise, this recording is available. In case if we need the PPT, we can try and do that. Yes. Okay. Now, this is what we saw, how to trade using a super trend or a RSI based or a price level based or a trend line based kind of configurations is what we saw. See, the process to be used when you're creating an alert for strategy is that first you select the trading symbol, then select the time frame, then look at load your strategy, and then click on the more button. Then it will show you that okay, only message box needs to be updated. Then copy the content as strategy.order.action, and then update the message box, update the webhook URL. That's it. Now, in case if you are using an indicator, then you have to create two alerts, one for entry and one for exit. So again, processes load the symbol, load your time frame, select the time frame, then load the indicator that you want to use, then click on that more button to add an alert, and it will give you few more conditions to be selected. Accordingly, update the condition, whether it is crossing up, crossing down. So based on the indicators, these could vary. Look at what is applicable for your study. Accordingly, select the crossing types, then trigger values. Trigger, typically, one would wait for the bar to close. And then in the message box for entry, if it's a long entry, then give it as a buy. If it's a short entry, give it as a sell. Then update the condition, update the trigger, and when the trigger should happen, and copy and paste the message box content given by Algomojo. Update the webhook URL for that strategy. That's it. So in terms when you're using an indicator, like you will see this conditions uh, could be something like crossing or crossing up. Crossing means it will either up or down. So indicator is moving up also it will trigger, coming down also it will trigger. So be careful on what you want when you want the trigger to happen. So whether it is crossing up or crossing down, greater than a value or lesser than a value, based on your study, select the appropriate condition, then select the trigger condition, like whether it is once for bar close or touch a fail at well level, those kind of things. Then update the box message content for entry and exit. That's it. Now, somebody was asking about using multiple legs of in an option strategy. Suppose there are multiple legs, how do we do it? So we have an extensive blog. I request you to kindly have a look at this blog. Gives you in detail about how to do a setup for most of the strategies, option strategies, which are pretty popular. There are a lot of people keep using these kind of strategies. So step-by-step process of how to create a, for example, a short synthetic future or a long synthetic future, how to create those and how to activate them based on a single step is all explained in the blog that we have done. Request you to have a look at it. So there are details given for almost all the popular or frequently used option strategies. Now, irrespective of how many ever legs are there in the option strategy, all of them can be triggered based on a single signal from any of the charting. It could be trading view, it could be Amibroker, it could be charting, any of these. Yeah, when it comes to Algomojo support, we are available from 9 to 5 on all trading days. On Saturdays from 10 to 5, you could reach us using our WhatsApp number. or you can give us a call on this number. You can raise a ticket or send an email. We will be able to, will be happy to assist you. My name is Lokesh, and we also take up coding in case if you are looking at getting done any requirements to be coded either in TradingView environment or Amibroker environment. We will be able to take up those kind of support activities. Depending on the requirement and the complexity, the pricing will be determined. There's no fixed price as such for coding. So uh, do send me an email in case you have any specific coding to be done using multiple indicators, strategies, conditions for generating signals, entry and exits. We can look at that and come back with a feasibility for you. My email ID is lokesh@infolab.com. Please send it to this ID. In case if you need any further clarification, updates, feel free to contact me. Our blog is algomojo.com/blog. Website is algomojo.com. Yeah. Thanks for that feedback. We are, yeah, it is there in our scope of work to include the target and stop loss for each of the stocks in the watch list. Yeah, it could take a bit of time. Team has got a priority in which we are working with. Once that is done, we will definitely update you. In case if you have any queries, do let me know. Thanks for attending this session. Uh, have a very nice and happy weekend. Thank you so much. Yes, tell me, sir. Could use the Q&A box. You have any query, Mr. Kalpesh? Yes, tell me, sir. Tell me. You can unmute and talk also. Hello. Any query that you have, Mr. Kalpesh? I'm not able to hear you. Either you can type or you can talk. I unmuted you. You can speak also, sir. I'm extremely sorry. I'm not able to hear you. Okay, in case you have any specific query, kindly call us or send me an email. We'll be happy to assist you, sir. Thanks once again. Have a nice weekend.